Hey folks, this is Chico with He Provides Homestead, and we are on the homestead today. I know we've been doing a lot of community garden videos, but that's where we get a lot of our food, is at the community garden. So it's an integral part of our homestead. Crazy wind today, so we probably won't shoot a lot of video outside, but I want to show you a couple things. If you look here, I know they look spindly, they look like they're barely holding on, but these are tomato plants that I cut the tops off of last year's tomato plants, or a sucker, and just rooted them and started them. They've survived the winter. This one maybe not, but they've survived the winter. They've grown. They're spindly, but we're going to transplant these today, and we're going to put them in buckets, and we're going to add some of our world-class compost. We're going to put some aged rabbit manure on it, and we're going to put them in the greenhouse, and we're going to see if they come out of this, and we'll bring you along for the outcome. Like we've told you all along, we're going to bring you along for the failures and the successes. So if this fails, then all I really wasted was a little time and some water that I poured on them over the winter. If it succeeds, then yay, we overwintered tomato plants from cuttings and have a jump start on this season. We'll see. This I'm especially proud of. This is a bell pepper plant that we did overwinter, and I kind of wanted it to go dormant, but it still produced 2 small bell peppers over the course of the winter, which we ate. But it's ready. We brought it outside today. It's got blooms on it, and bell peppers are actually perennials. You don't have to just cut them down. They don't have to go in your compost bin at the end of the season. So I'm the only one I know of around here that's done this. If you've done this before, let me know in the comment section below. But we're going to see if we can get another year out of this same bell pepper plant. This is stevia. We overwintered stevia. We really don't even know how to use stevia, but we got it cheap in the fall last year, late fall. We used a little bit of it, but we're going to transplant it and see what happens with it. Compost. Got to carry out the compost. We don't have the chickens yet, but we've made some great grilled shrimp shish kebabs for lunch today. You can find photos of it on our Twitter and Instagram accounts. But this is all going to go into compost today, and so far we've made, like I say, world-class compost. And then I want to show you a couple other things that'll be going in the ground very soon. These are, that's not my best one. These are bush beans. So if we have no more frost in Indiana, if it's an early summer like I think it's going to be, we're ahead of the game. We're going to do very well with our bush beans. Gardening's a gamble, homesteading's a gamble. You never know. But we think this is going to be a huge success. We think we've got to jump on the season. Cucumbers. We've got cucumbers coming up. We've got a couple of varieties, and we think these are, it's the same thing. We're a little early, but if we are in fact having an early summer, then we're ahead of the game, and this is all good. Now, I'm going to come down the steps, and I'm going to show you something else. You can go ahead back there. Sorry about that. She didn't know I was going to do this. If you look right over here, when we did the clothing giveaway, and I'll link the video right up here, or right here, to the clothing giveaway. We feel very strongly about giving back to the community. But someone had donated a baby bed with a missing part. You can't give that to young couples. So I took the rails. We're going to take this to the community garden, and you'll see it in an upcoming video. But we're going to take it to the community garden, and we're going to wire it together like this, and we're going to plant cucumbers, one on each corner, and trellis them up and over. So again, we do a lot of experiments. this may succeed, it may fail, but you're going to go along and you'll see the outcome. You'll know what happens. So that's one of the things we got going. And if you will just follow me, I know it's windy, I want to show you one thing, a couple things over here in our garden. So what I want to show you first is this is one of the raised beds that we showed you earlier in a bed prepping video. But we have planted red Russian kale here, and it seems to be doing very well. We were a couple weeks late in planting it, but I think we're going to get a good harvest. And then if you've noticed here also, these are volunteer squash plants. We're going to try to let them come up and do their thing. If they overtake the kale, if it's a problem, we'll cut them and compost them. If not, we will let them go and we'll let them do their thing and we'll harvest the fruit from it. And I'll come around to this one. This bed's starting to do decent. This is Swiss chard. Again, we were a little late, but we think we're going to get a good harvest from it this year. Right here in the middle is a stray garlic bulb that was in the compost, and it took off on its own, so we transplanted it in there. And then if you look over here, this is our world-class this is our world-class compost. But what we're going to do is we got to dig this out so we can put topsoil back in it so that we can get this bed planted as well. So a little bit of work, but great topsoil, great compost. So we're going to shovel it out so that we can start using this bed, and then we're going to start building more beds. I know it's windy. Thanks for following us. Thanks for all you do. We'll talk to you soon. Godspeed. Hey guys, I'm back briefly. I just got to show you something. We kind of try to be prepared in case something happens, especially right before winter hits. One of the things that we do is we gather up walnuts and hickory nuts here on the homestead, just in case it's a harsh winter, just in case something happens. So we had like 4 or 5 buckets of walnuts. We just threw them husk and all in the buckets and left them under the steps over the winter. Well, we're washing out the buckets because we're going to plant tomatoes in them, and I saw something very cool and I want to share it with you. So hold on while I switch the screen. Check this out. When we dumped them, we have noticed that several of them have sprouted, split the husk, and actually have walnuts growing, or the start of a walnut tree. So we're actually going to plant these. We'll take you along for that too. So just thought it was very cool that walnuts that we wintered have sprouted. So check it out. We'll talk to you later.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Hey, glad you're back. Want to show you a little bit about what we're doing. Like I say, it may or may not succeed. But we overwintered these plants, and then we're going to start them in buckets, and we're going to put stakes to hold them up. So we put in some good old topsoil, then we put in a little bit of compost, then more topsoil, and then we planted the tomatoes in about 6-8 inches deeper than what they were, because a tomato plant, whatever you put under soil, roots will come off of it. It will develop a nice root base. If we were planting these in something long, I would probably plant that much of the plant down sideways and then let it come up, because it'll build a stronger root base. So we're taking these down 6 to 8 inches deeper. We're adding in the compost, and then we're going to stake them up, and we think they're going to be fine. So if you want to just check it out, what this plant that you're looking at right here, only, we've already probably got 4 inches, 6 inches of what was out of the ground in the other pot under here. And we're going to bring the soil up to almost to this fork and we're going to put in some more compost, and we're going to top dress it with some aged rabbit manure. And so it ought to be almost to the top of the bucket, right to that fork, and everything below the dirt should start growing roots. And I think this is going to be a great tomato plant. One of my big issues is I don't write stuff down. I don't do good journaling. So these plants are from several different varieties that we had last summer. I have no idea what's what. So we're going to grow whatever grows. So that's it for now. We'll talk to you in a little while. Hey guys, we're back. We're going to wrap this up. I'm going to show you a little bit about what we've got accomplished today. I want you to look right here. This is one of our compost bins, and we had, those are either squash or pumpkins that came up volunteers. So we got to water the compost almost daily anyway, so we've been watering it and decided to let them go. So today we actually took worm castings with red wigglers and put it around. Now the worms will eat their way down to get away from the sun and leave the castings up here for the plants. But the worms will eat all this compost and leave more castings behind. So we think this is going to be a win. We think this is going to grow and produce, and we'll reap a harvest from it. We've also got worms in the other compost bins for the same reason, but I want to show you that. I think it's going to be a win. We'll show you a few things over here. We had horseradish root given to us last year. We let it grow all season. We ate the leaves just like you would any other green. We ate it like kale. We ate it like mustard greens, turnip greens. Same thing, a little peppery. But I wanted to show you, we didn't harvest the root last year. We let them grow. So these are our two horseradish root plants. They look like they're doing very well. We will eat these leaves just like any other green. And then this fall we'll harvest one of these and we'll cut it off and we'll replant the short root. But we're going to let the other one go ahead and grow for another season. And then every other year we'll harvest what I hope to be a nice big horseradish root. So, sorry about the wind. The experiment we were telling you about, I wanted to show you. The tomatoes, they were spindly, they were rough looking, and they look rough right now because they're a little bit shocked from the transplant. So we've transplanted them in buckets, transplanted them deeper than they were, and we've put compost, we've put rabbit manure, and we've put worm castings in on these. We think they're going to do well. We'll let you know. Another thing we accomplished today, I want to show you over here. We got this little greenhouse. We told you about it. We're stoked. But like a greenhouse, the grass and weeds in here was growing like crazy. So we laid down cardboard and took our wood chips and mulched it real thick, and we think that's going to keep the weeds down and make this a more usable piece of equipment. So that's life on He Provides Homestead. We're glad you came along. Please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Godspeed.